Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Evening Review. Let's take a look at today's newspaper. Joining us on the Evening Review this evening is Mr. Boro Ndungula from Their Blood Waters Our Freedom. Welcome to Evening Review, sir.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Their Blood Waters Our Freedom. What organization is this, and what do you, can you just give us a sense of who you are?
You see, our organization is all about us, the children of the people who contributed to the liberation of Namibian struggle, but are no more here with us. We are the children of the soldiers who fought for Namibia, and they sacrificed their lives for Namibia's victory. So we are the children of those people, and we know that their remains, they are still in Angola. You see, so we decided that we need to come up with an organization that will be looking into interests of the deceased war veterans. Because what is happening is that the war veterans, they fought for this country, then they died in Angola, some in Zambia. And these are not just ordinary war veterans. These are the soldiers. Because when you look at the liberation struggle history, it was fought on three fronts, namely political front, diplomatic front, and military front. So our fathers and mothers, they were not so fortunate to be able to go and get education and study in other countries. So they could not be fighting on the political front and the diplomatic front. So they had to go to the military front. And the military front is the toughest one, because it's a war. When we talk about war, people fighting, it's the military front. So as such, our parents, they were the ones who were chosen to go to the military front to become soldiers and to fight for Namibia. So they were already sacrificed from there. You understand? There were those who made it alive, but our parents, they didn't make it. They died in exile there. They are buried there, you see. So as an organization, we came to see that no, we are a different generation from the others, you see. So we feel that our parents, they did a lot for Namibia, but now we, because what happened is that it's something maybe somebody can call like it's a comrade betrayal. Me and you, we are going to war, we fight, we win. I die, you survive. You come back here in Namibia, you are only looking after your family, but then the comrade who also contributed to the victory, that the country is independent. All you know that is that your comrade was having a family or was having a child. That's where it ends. Furthermore, there is no help to look into comrade's problem, you see.
Okay.
So,
yeah, no, and I want to ask you, just to move along. What talk us firstly through the formation of Their Blood Waters Our Freedom. You know, being now the children of people that fought in the liberation struggle for Namibia. How was it formed? Where was it formed? How open are you to accepting other people from other that may be in a similar position?
You see, the formation of the organization itself, it comes from our own experience, the way we grew up. You understand? Because the thing is, we were small children when we were born. We never had normal family life. You understand? We were born in a war zone, not by choice. You understand? But out of no choice. You see? So when you talk about the liberation struggle, they were soldiers. You understand? But then we so happened to be that we were kids, we were born there, we were children of the soldiers. So we had a different upbringing from many people, you see. So we differentiate. Because imagine already when you are 2, 3 already, you see soldiers, this military equipment, you see all those things, you see. So that experience is that makes us that to decide that, oh, okay, let us go and form our organization. Because number one is that, you see, the people who died in exile, when we came in Namibia, we came to realize that it's like they are not taken serious. They are forgotten by their comrades. You understand what I'm saying? Because we were the children of the soldiers who fought for this country. But when you look at the family of those soldiers have nothing. They are suffering, and their children also they are not well off. And the thing is, these are not different comrades from Sam Nujoma, Hage Geingob, Pohamba, and many others. Because when you look at the issue of exile people, out of the exile, they came people who were living veterans, the heroes. You understand? Who today in the Namibian society are occupying ministerial position, government position, and so forth. But then it's so that also that there are also other heroes who are no more with us here, who died in exile there. Okay. And these people are in the same level like Sam Nujoma, Hage Geingob, Pohamba. It's not to say that no, Sam Nujoma was better than these people. No, these people, in fact, these people who died in exile, they were soldiers, so it means that their contribution to the liberation struggle was very much, because to be fighting an enemy, you don't sleep, you are in the bush and stuff like that.
Okay, but now, specifically the formation of Their Blood Waters Our Freedom, was it a thing of similar, like-minded people coming together and saying?
Yes, like-minded people with sharing the same experience.
Okay, when was it formed?
It was formed in 2018, after a lot of frustration that we come to see that most of our colleagues are facing due to the fact that we are disorganized. Because you must be aware that there is an organization that is catering for the Namibia Exile Kids Association, NECA. But that association is just catering for the well-beingness of the former exile kids. You understand? So we felt that we all come from exile. But we came to realize that we as much as we do have a shared history, we are different from one another, because the same problems they are having is not the problem that I'm having.
Would you care to elaborate?
Yeah. So what we decided is that we have to classify ourselves clearly and categorically. So we see that when you look at the exile kids, when we're in exile, there were those who had mothers and fathers, both. And then there were those who were having only a mother or a father, otherwise the other one passed away. And then you had category like us. Your mother and father, they died at war. You had no mother, you have no father. You understand?
But would it be correct to say that all of you were orphans coming now out of Their Blood Waters Our Freedom?
Excuse me?
I mean, would that mean that the majority of you were orphans?
Exactly. Because for you to be able to be a member, your father or mother must have died in exile during the fighting. So all of us are orphans of this organization. So within our organization, you will find those who are only having a mother and a father, and those who are having no mother, no father. And these are the people that we came to recognize that they suffered because their mothers and fathers, they were not there for them, because they could not grow up in a nuclear family like any ordinary human being. And their upbringing was not normal for a small child. I mean, imagine you are 2 years, 3 years, you are in a war zone. That's not normal, you understand?
Okay.
So the organization is for everyone that is sharing the same sentiments that we are having. And what brought our organization to the existence is because the Parliament of Namibia has approved a Veteran Act of 2008. That act says that anybody that is a living veteran or deceased veteran must benefit from this Veteran Act. You understand? So it so happens that what we came to understand is that, see, what you are seeing is that the Minister of Veterans is only concentrating on the living veterans. The living veterans are being registered, they are being recognized, they are getting lump sums, they are getting quotas, they are being really catered for by the government. And not just the living veterans, but also their dependents and their children. They are being looked after by the government through the Veteran Act.
Okay.
So we so feel that we see that there is also the act. The act didn't say that the ministry must only help the living veteran. It said that it must help both the living and the deceased veterans. But it so happens that the deceased veterans, they are not there on their own to represent their own interests. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand, and I will get to that question. You mentioned NECA, and I want to know now, because you brought about this association.
Yeah.
Has there ever been how does this differ from NECA? And don't you think that there's a duplication in terms of what you want to do and what NECA wants to do?
No, there is no duplication, because it's just not possible. Because NECA is an organization that is about to bring all exiled children together and play and think about the past and so forth. Our as organization, we are here to claim the money for our mothers and fathers, because our mothers and fathers, they fought for this country. You understand what I'm saying? And their money is there with the Ministry of Veteran Affairs. But because they are not here, they themselves, to claim that money. Because the Veteran Act did not say that give only the money to the living veterans. It said that to the living and the deceased. But the deceased are not there to be able to claim for what is theirs. So we, the children of those people, we so feel that it's our responsibility and duty to claim that money. Because the pain that you are having is that we are having the remains of our parents, not in Namibia, but in Angola and Zambia, 30 years after independence.
Okay.
And these are the people that were soldiers when you are fighting a war, my brother. You never leave your remains behind. You bring all your soldiers back. You understand what I'm saying? So we feel that now, since there is the money that can be provided for them, we want, because we see that maybe the government don't have time to be able to get all those remains that are there. Because when we are talking about the remains, we are talking about 11,000 people who are still there. So with the family of those people, we feel that now it's high time that we bring these people here to be repatriated in Namibia.
Okay, no, that's fine. But then again, brings me to ask again.
Yeah.
What NECA did, or what other organizations did, what are you doing as what are you doing as an organization now to advance the livelihoods of children of the liberation struggle? For example, your struggle kids, their blood waters our freedom, and so forth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that our organization, their blood waters our freedom. We are only here to claim the money for our family, our mothers and fathers. NECA is totally different thing. In fact, some of the NECA people, they want to have those members to be registered to become veteran or to get veteran status. You understand? We are still NECA people. We are not to say we are removing ourselves from NECA.
Okay.
We are still NECA people, but within NECA, we are having a different agenda. Because when we are bringing up the issue of our deceased parents who are still there in exile, for some of those people who have their mothers and fathers alive, they don't feel the issue, that this issue is way too important for us to be addressed. So we are just saying that we are still NECA people, but we are going to now form another organization that is just completely for those who have lost their mothers and fathers in exile, whose remains are there, because we want to come together and discuss, to come up with an idea as to how we can get those remains there. Because those remains, they cannot be there. These people are not just ordinary people. These are the people who sacrificed their blood for Namibia with their lives. So these are the heroes. We are talking about, the heroes of Namibia. So these are the people. And it pains us when we go and see the Namibian people, they're enjoying their independence. They are going to the Sunday cleaning the cemetery of their beloved ones. We also like to do that. We also want that. That is normal human being thing that everybody must do, but we are not able to. And it's not just easy for me to say that, Boro, go there to Angola and bring those remains. It's not easy. There must be a governmental involvement into that.
Okay.
So this is now, we are bringing up that organization to say, we are only giving chance to these who are affected, because not everyone in NECA is affected by the problem that is affecting us. And we are not saying that we are claiming to be registered as veterans. No. The people want to be registered as veterans. They are from NECA and the other organization. We support them, and we are still together. But this one, even the president of NECA, Benita Nakambo, when she came here, I think she's just having a mother, a father. So she qualifies also to be a member of our organization, because she's sharing with us something that she also has a parent that passed on there. So as much as that it looks like that it's two organizations for the exile kids or exile people, yes, it's true. But we have different objectives and agendas.
Okay.
Yeah, we are here just to represent the interests of our deceased parents, because if we don't do so, then we'll blame ourselves, because when you look at the members that our organization are representing here, we are having and these are the heroes. I'm not just talking about the ordinary Namibians, the heroes who fought militarily, people who fought with Martin Shali and Dahunamo, the real soldiers who fought. So these are the members of those children. You understand? So here in our organization, we have people of like Jonas Aidua. He was a general there in Swapo. David Lamek Bango, Greenwell Matongo, as well as Bromelus Shangula, Patrick Lugamba, August Megnangara Ngamwa, Homateni Kalwina. These are, when we were in exile, these are where the people were looking up to like this as heroes. Because we are only inspired by soldiers. We are the children of the soldiers. The soldiers, they come there, visit you in Kemalo, and then they go to the front. Sometimes you hear they made it, sometimes they got injured, but this is how we grew up. So the members here, even Tasha Nakada, Joa Bambi, Putuse Apollos, these are heroes. And they are children, they are with us in our organization.
Okay. To go back now, you mentioned the Veterans Act and seeking recognition as a veteran, am I correct?
No, we are not seeking.
You are not seeking?
We just want our parents to be recognized.
As veterans?
Because once they are recognized as veterans, that is the only way as we as the family of those people
can benefit.
Are able to go to collect what is due to them. Because what's so happening is that the Ministry of Veterans, it is only taking care of the living veterans and their children. It had so forgotten that these people, we fought together with them. When they died, they left children behind. When we talk about our people that are part of our organization, because when you look in exile there were about 45,000 people. Out of that 25,000, you had 10,000 kids that came out of it. You understand what I'm saying? 10,000 kids that came out of it. So you can say half of those maybe had mother and father who were alive. But then the other 5, it's us. Either your mother or your father died. Not what from 60, no, from the front. They were fighting, then they got killed, you see. Okay.
And then I want to ask again now, you now as their Blood Waters Our Freedom, have you at least been able to, to organize amongst yourself to approach government and put forward your suggestions? Yeah. Has there been such interventions?
So definitely. We as members of NECA, we thought it that since we are the children of the liberation struggle, we can do it through NECA. But it so happens that our things could not work within NECA because of the different situation that we found ourselves. When you look at the people who were heading NECA at that time, those were just the children of the ministers, the children of the people who really never suffered in exile. They were well off as much as they are well off here. Even in exile, they were well off. We were the ones who were living in camps, had no food to eat and stuff like that. You understand? So since those people were the ones who were leading the NECA, and then when we talk about our things like our fallen parents, they are not well treated, there's nothing forthcoming and stuff, we could not really understand ourselves. This is now what brought that. No, let's separate ourselves and just be a people of a like thing. Because for us, we are not forcing something that is not there. We are forcing for something that is there, but is not being enforced for us to benefit as a result. My father and mother, they fought for this country. They died for this country. They are recognized by law. They are supposed to be recognized as war veterans. You understand what I'm saying? So it so happens now that these people, we are just fighting for something that is there, which already started in 2008 or 2013. Ever since the Ministry of Veterans was founded, the ministry, I can tell you, 90% of the benefits just went to the living veterans. As such, what happened is that the children of the deceased war veterans, the real heroes of Namibia, they found themselves on the street, unemployed. And even you see some of them join the other struggle kids who were fighting to get jobs and education. These were the things that could have been prevented had the Veteran Act been implemented correctly. Because the Veteran Act did not say that 90%, the living veterans, 10% this is. I just say this act is for the living and this is veterans. So we came to find out that, the ministry is not representing the deceased veterans, because the living veterans, deceased veterans, they are not there to fight for themselves to be able to claim what is theirs. So it's now what brought us to decide that no, let us just organize ourselves, speak with one voice, approach our government, and go to us. We are not asking for us, because NECA, at least they are trying to ask for us to say that declare all exile kids as veterans, so that they can get that status and get what's for them. We are claiming what is for our fathers and mothers, which was already in since 2008 or whatever. But people are failing to release to us that what is due to our parents.
Okay. So apart from this recognition now for your your deceased or your late parent, how else would you want government to assist you as their blood waters, our freedom?
The government, where we want them to assist us. When we talk about the government people, we are not talking about strangers. We are talking about the people that grew up with us together in exile. You know, when we're in exile, or when we are talking about the liberation struggle, we were not observers. We were not onlookers. We were direct participants of the liberation struggle. In the liberation struggle, it was between South Africa and SWAPO. SWAPO aided by Cuba, and then the MPLA, and South Africa aided by UNITA. You understand? That was the war. And this is the war that we are talking about, the 23-year-old war. They call it Bush War, or they call it the liberation fight for the Namibia independence. You understand what I'm saying? So we so happen to be born in that war. Like I said, not out of choice, but because of the situation, you see. So the people like Libertina Madila, Philemon Malima, Zulu Nandenga, Charles Namolo, these people that today you are saying that they are ministers, is the people that we used to see like this, because these are comrades like this. You cannot tell me my father who died fighting for this country in Nyoma, they are different. No, they were only different in a sense that, yes, the liberation struggle was fought on three fronts. The political front, where was Sam Nyoma, diplomatic fight, where you had Dipa Mutenya and Hage Gengop, they were there in New York fighting, and then you had the military front. And military front contributed to the victory of Namibia to the extent that apartheid was paralyzed. It was because of the military victories. When you look at the battle that happened between South Africans and the SWAPO, there were more than 100 of them. Some they were successful, some they were defeated, but there were over 100. And it was our fathers and mothers who took that hit to be able to sacrifice and say, I want Namibia to be free. So they were the ones who were there in the military front fighting for Namibia. You understand what I'm saying? So now, Okay?
No, yeah, just again, just to conclude then, what would you, like I asked, what would you want government to do apart from that recognition for your parents? So are there any programs that you would want to participate in, such as agriculture, such as textiles? Is there anything specific that you would, or not specific, but laying it out in broad terms, that you would want assistance with from government?
Obviously, that's what we would love, for the government to be able to assist us. But now, since this claim that we want to claim is not for us, it's for our parents. You understand what I'm saying? So we just want to be given what the government is giving to the living veterans. If they give them lump sums, if they give them projects, if they give them fishing quotas, if they give them what, mining, right? That is all what we are asking. Because that is not for us that we are asking. We are asking for our parents who are not here, they themselves to claim what is supposed to be for them. So that's what we want. So it's not about what the government, if there is something that we can ask the government, that we want the government to do, is the government to assist us. Because this money that we are asking, we want to go get the remains of our parents there. Because if our government is not in position of able to go to take their people, because these people are not strangers. It's the people they fought together like this. It's the same comrades. I even thought that they can do it themselves because those are their friends. You never leave your friend behind. So what you are saying is that where the government can help us is maybe to facilitate for us with the Angolan government and Zambian government, for us to be able to be given access so that we are able to go to exhume those remains and bring them here. Because we are not sleeping. Our people, they're always waking up to say, children, we are here in foreign lands. Our friends from government, if they cannot bring us here, can you not do it? And for us, it's our people. It's our people, and we like to have their remains here. So that's what we are trying that maybe the government, they can try to help us in that way. Because for us, this is clear. The remains of those people must return back to Namibia and be buried here in Namibia. And to my disappointment, when I saw they were building Heroes Acre, I was very thankful to say that, our government, they are going to bring their comrades from exile and bury them here. Only to be disappointed to come to find out they only went to go and bring only 4 or 5 remains. And then the rest they keep for themselves to say that those ones that are alive, when they die, they already have themselves spaces where they're going to be laid. Okay, that is fine. But for us, we need our people here. That's why we are forcing the issue of the money. It's not really to say we want to go take the money and party. No, it's just to go and take what is theirs, but mainly with that money is to go and bring the remains there so that they can also be in peace. Because when you look at the cemetery where they are buried, you will cry. You will cry because it's just in the bush, Okay, when we talk about 11,000 people that died there, not everyone is able to be identified for people to know where that person died. Some of our parents, because it's shooting with the enemy, then you run. So your body lies there, then animals can come and eat it up. That can be understood. But there remains of the people that is known where they are. For instance, in Kasinga, we have parents who are in Kasinga, there's 700 people. And some of the cemeteries or the soldiers, they are known where they are. So that's what we want, that the government can help us so that we are able to go bring them here. What is it that you are bringing only five people on the government budget? Then you leave the other 11,000 as family of those people. That pains us. We need those people here. That is our family. How can you celebrate and even mention the names of those people? But their remains, they are there. And the thing is also that we are asking the government is them to give us the rights to those people. Because it so happens you just hear the government, they gave your father a street, or they name a government building after your father, without consulting you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like now they are excluding us. When they talk about the deceased war veterans, they are not even coming to consult us as family of those people. They decide just on their own, no, we are going to build 13 monuments for the deceased veterans. But they don't come to us. And the thing is, there is a War Veteran Association here of Namibia. They are not even coming to us. They know that they and our fathers, they were friends like this, they fought together. But they never come to say that, oh, the children of our deceased comrades, they are there, they are suffering. What has been done for them? None of them, they come to us. But we know, and they know, even when they look at you, say, oh, Jesus, man, you look like your father. You understand what I'm saying? They know us like this, and we know them like this. But there was never a way for them to come to say, let's try to fight for the rights of the deceased, or even just for their friends who died. Because when you are getting these veteran things, do you also think about your deceased friend? It's like that. They've forgotten their comrades, and this is something that is spending us. So from the government and then the veterans' friends, what we want, because most of them, they are already old, and we don't want to do these things without them, because those are their people, they fought together. It's them who should in fact lead the initiative of going to get back, because it will be very emotional. You need to go get your comrades. You forgot they're in exile after 30 years.
Okay.
So you need to go get them back and bring them here. So that's now where we want them before they die, because you see most of them now, they are very old. Before they die, they must come and give last respect to the real heroes of Namibia. Otherwise, Namibia will never be really happy like that, because some of the problems that are happening here in Namibian society is because of those bones, those remains. They are crying, they want to come home. And it's only the government that can come there and help us in that regard. This is why we formed this organization, so that we can speak with united voice.
Okay, Mr. Dungula.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us in studio.
Anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.